Hi, it's Nicole the Math Lady, and today we're talking about comparing decimals. What's that all about? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, here's the key to comparing decimals. It's all about the place value. What do I mean by that? Well, you can see here we have three decimals, 17 hundredths, 167 thousandths, and 24 thousandths. So what I'm going to recommend is that you line them up by place value. So line up your decimals. So the first one is 0.17, 0.167, 0.024. Okay, so let's take a look. We start with the tenths place, and we see that there's a 0 here, and there's a 1 here and here. So we know that this is the smallest number because it starts out with a 0. It's less than the other two. So you always just start with the tenths. So we're going to put our first number 0.024. Okay, done with that one. Now let's look at the next two numbers. So they both have ones in the tenths place. So now we move out to the hundredths place. We have a 7 here and a 6 here. Which one is smaller? The 6 is. So we know our next smallest number is 0.167, because again, we are comparing the hundredths place. And then our last number is our 0.0. I gotta write that right, 17. Okay, so again, the rule is you're comparing the place values. You start with the tenths, see which is the smallest or biggest, then you can move out to the hundredths if you need to. You move out to the thousandths if you need to. Let's try a few more examples. Here we have two decimals, 54 hundredths and 54 thousandths. Which one is smaller? We're going to compare them. Well, let's line them up. 0.54 and 0.054. Let's start with the tenths place. So I'm going to circle it so you can easily see it. Which one is the smaller number? Oh, it's easy to see that our 0 is the smallest number. So this number is going to be the smaller one. 0.54 is greater than 0.054. What about this decimal? 0.600 and 0.6. What do? Let's line them up and take a look. 0.600, 0.6. So we can see that when we first look at the tenths place, 6 equals 6. Well, let's move out. We have a 0 here, but don't we also have a 0 here? Even though it's not written, we know, I read it with the dashed line, that it's still a 0. And actually, this is still a 0. And we could actually add as many zeros as we wanted to this, and it would still be the same. So when we compare these two decimals, we know that our answer will be equal. Doesn't matter how many zeros go past, the place values line up, so they're equal. One last example. Take a look at this. 0.12345 compared to 0.12. Well, let's line them up with the decimals and see what happens. 0.12345, 0.12. Let's look at the tenths place. The same. The hundredths place. The same. When we get here to the 3, well, what do we know is happening down here even though we don't see anything? We know that it's a 0. So we can put a 0 here, and actually we can put as many zeros as we want. We're going to compare what's in the thousandths place. 0 and a 3, which one's smaller? The 0 is. So we know that this number is smaller than this number. So our correct comparison symbol is greater than. And that's it. All different sorts of ways to look at decimals, but it all boils down to the same thing. Compare place values, start with the tenths, and work your way to the right if you need to. Okay, make sure you practice the practice examples, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.